A tree that forgets its roots will surely fall when the wind comes. As you are about to enjoy the full story, like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. In the heart of Amorie village, tucked between rolling hills and thick forests of oilbean trees, there lived a girl named Oluebube. From the moment of her birth, the rain had fallen thick and fast, drenching the parched earth and blessing the farms. The elders had nodded wisely at the skies and said, "This child has come with a heavy spirit. Great things will follow her." And so it was. Oluebube grew like a well-watered vine, graceful, humble, and loved by all. By the time she was 10, she had become the pride of Amorie. She could recite all her catechism answers flawlessly. She danced with innocence at Christmas festivals. She helped the old women shell agusi seeds under the big ukwu tree. Her father, Oluebube, a wealthy yam farmer, often joked, "If all girls were like Oluebube, we would have no need for whips or warnings." Her mother, Nena, known for her thick, sweet palm wine, would tie her wrapper tighter around her chest and beam with pride whenever neighbors praised her daughter. At St. Mary's Catholic Church, Oluebube's angelic voice rose above all others during Mass. When she sang, even those who had sworn never to forgive their enemies found their hearts softening like cooked yam. She was perfect. At least, to the eyes of the villagers. But Oluebube carried a secret, one stitched into her soul before she even understood what it meant. A secret whispered to her on Harmattan nights by her maternal grandmother, Amorie. Amorie was no ordinary woman. Long before the missionaries brought their hymn books and Bibles, she had been the Dibianwani of Amorie, a healer, a seer, a keeper of the old ways. Her mud hut was filled with jars of herbs, sacred stones, and old wooden masks that seemed to breathe when no one was looking. People came from villages near and far to kneel before her and beg for healing, for blessings, for forgiveness. And Amorie, with her kauri-decorated hair and her staff carved from sacred Iroko wood, would answer them in riddles and chants that only the wise could understand. But times changed. The missionaries came. The villagers built churches. Amorie became a relic of a time the people were trying to forget. Still, she remained, stubborn as the roots of a silk cotton tree, holding on to the old ways until her final breath. It was to little Oluebube, her granddaughter, that she passed her mantle. In secret. In whispers. In dreams. "One day, they will call you witch," Amorie had said, smoothing Oluebube's hair in the flickering light of a palm oil lamp. "One day, they will stone you for saving their own lives. But you must not fear. You must remember who you are." At 7 years old, Oluebube had nodded solemnly. The covenant was sealed. As she grew older, Oluebube lived in two worlds. By day, she was the golden daughter of Amorie, perfect in the eyes of men. By night, and especially after church on Sundays, she walked the secret paths of the forest. Behind St. Mary's Church, hidden by thick bushes of hibiscus and bitter leaf, there lay a narrow trail only the initiated could find. Oluebube would slip away after Mass, her Bible safely tucked away, and change her Sunday dress for a plain brown wrapper. Barefoot, she would tread the red earth, humming songs so old even the earth seemed to recognize them. Songs of the river goddess. Songs of the trees that bore witness to forgotten wars. Songs of love, loss, and life. The forest welcomed her like a lost child returned home. The ancient spirits, long starved of attention, leaned close to hear her voice. At a clearing where the earth had once cracked open during a thunderstorm, Oluebube built her shrine. A circle of stones blessed with river water. A mat woven from the raffia palms. A gourd of sacred herbs, passed down from Amorie. Here, she worked. She healed the sick who could not find cure in the hospital. She bound lovers torn apart by jealousy. She untangled the knots of curses and envy. She spoke to the ancestors, seeking their guidance for a people who had long forgotten them. And she did it all for free. Her payment was the joy of a mother clutching a healed child. The peace of a husband finding love for his wife again. The whisper of thanks from the trees. She was the secret hand that held Amorie together. And no one knew. If only they knew. Then came the year the rains forgot to fall. The skies, once generous with their tears, grew hard and hot. The river, which had fed Amorie for generations, shrank into a trickling thread. The crops withered. The goats and chickens died. The people grew desperate. Fear crept into their hearts, hollowing them from within. And fear, as the elders say, births madness. Whispers started. Accusations. Suspicion. Someone has angered the gods, they said. Someone among us is the cause. The women gathered at night, burning incense and chanting old protective songs. The men consulted the church elders. The chief priest of the shrine, Izedem, whose hair had long since turned white with wisdom, called for a casting of the sacred lots. It was decided. The spirits would reveal the guilty one. Justice must be swift and merciless. The entire village assembled under the ancient ukwu trees, the place where their ancestors had first sworn allegiance to the land. One by one, each person approached the sacred tray. Some trembled. Some wept. Some boldly placed their hands, confident of their innocence. But when Oluebube stepped forward, the tray cracked. The air grew heavy, suffocating. The trees groaned. A gust of wind snatched away the priest's red cap and sent it tumbling across the square. All eyes turned to Oluebube. Eyes that once adored her. Eyes that now burned with fear and hatred. "Confess," the chief priest thundered. "What dark things do you do after church?" Silence stretched so long it felt like a living thing. Even the insects held their breath. At last, Oluebube spoke. "I heal," she said simply. "I mend what you break with your greed, your envy, your wickedness. I carry the burden you cast aside." The people did not understand. They could not. Their fear was louder than her truth. A cry rose. "Witch! Abomination! She must die!" They surged forward, sticks and stones raised high. And at that moment, the earth split with a sound like 1,000 drums. From the cracked ground rose a figure cloaked in mist and flame, the spirit of Allah, mother of the earth. Her voice was sorrow and rage woven together. "Fools! You destroy the bridge between you and your salvation. You tear down the hand stretched to lift you." She turned to Oluebube, her face softening. "Child of truth, your work here is done." Without a word, Oluebube turned away. She walked into the forest, her brown wrapper fluttering like a flag of mourning. The earth closed behind her. The path disappeared. And Amorie was left empty. Empty of hope. Empty of life. Empty of its soul. In the years that followed, Amorie crumbled. The river dried completely. The children grew sickly and frail. The farms yielded only sorrow. The market became a graveyard of dreams. And when the old women gathered at night to tell tales to the shivering children, they always ended with a sigh and a prayer. If only we had known. If only we had listened. If only we had understood what she did after church. But by then, it was too late. Too late. Forever too late.